Hi, Henny, how are you? It's Teknikolour, and today I figured that we can actually check out my first shell challenge, at least the first one I've ever hosted. So, as I'm sure you all can tell, I have participated in a bunch of shell challenges in the past, and I've posted a ton of those speed builds here on this YouTube channel, and a lot of them happen to be hosted by Little Simsy. And she had done one that I was really taken with. It was a puzzle shell, which, if you don't know what that is, it's basically just there's a bunch of different rooms that have to get puzzled together. And you can puzzle them in any sort of way, and then the inside can get created from there. But once everything is all puzzled together, the exterior walls can't be changed. In her version, there were rooms created by her moderators. And I thought that was really interesting. And my boyfriend did too. And he created a mod puzzle shell for me by wrangling all of my moderators, each of them who not all of them are even into The Sims or have ever played The Sims. So he kind of had to sort of explain to varying skill levels in The Sims or even just interest levels. And each of my moderators created a room, a puzzle piece, if you will, for me to puzzle together. And it was actually a little intense. I thought it was going to be a lot easier. It was not. There was a mixture of rooms that were really, really, really nice that could kind of work anywhere. And then there were a bunch of rooms that really couldn't work with anything. And as a reminder, for puzzle shells, usually they all need to be connected in some way, and you don't really want to have a bunch of donut holes, which is basically if you had, say, room A and room B and room C, but they don't really fit together well, so there's kind of an opening in between them. You don't really want those, and you would have to decorate around them. You can't just fill it in. So somehow I was able to get everything to piece together. I didn't love the way it got pieced together, but I was able to piece everything together. And it took us a while. Actually, this footage is way longer than what's included in this YouTube video, just because I had started and stopped this so many different times. I think I streamed for maybe 6 or 7 hours when we started this, and I reset, a fully bulldozed and started over so many different times. Also, just a fair warning, I did want to make a YouTube video basically of this speed build way earlier so that I could get everything shown for YouTube in case anyone on YouTube wanted to participate. But unfortunately, the submission already closed. We actually did the shell tours in December, and I have to say, so many people participated. I was blown away by how many people participated, but also everyone had the best, most creative builds. It was absolutely wild to me. It was also very funny because a bunch of people made museums, galleries, which I was not expecting. I made a residential. I made a house. And I thought the shape sort of lent itself to that. I thought it was going to be easy for everyone to just do a house. But so many people chose all these different just ideas. And that's what I love about shell challenges. It's always so fun to have, in this case, a puzzle is a little different because you could put it together in any way. But typically with a shell challenge, the whole point is to get people interested in building. It's to get people interested in decorating, and it's just so crazy to see the exact same shape used in so many different ways. So it was even more interesting now that all of these puzzle pieces could be used in different ways, and that there were so many people who came up with completely different concepts. It was just wild to me. My boyfriend also participated. He made a base game build, and it was phenomenal. I was completely blown away by it. I also had somebody else do a coastal build in Sulani. And I have such a sweet spot for Sulani because if you didn't know, I'm a huge The Little Mermaid fan. And actually, to get myself accustomed to gameplay in The Sims 4, because The Sims 4 is my first Sims game ever, To get myself accustomed to gameplay, what I decided to do was I wanted to make a legacy challenge that was going to be fairly easy, and it was going to be something that I could easily understand how to learn The Sims 4 and how to play, because there were a bunch of expansion packs. There was a lot of information, and still I'm learning. But I decided the easiest thing to do would be to have Princess Ariel, the Little Mermaid, have her parents, then create all of their children. And then the legacy challenge didn't end until Ariel and Eric, they got married, had a kid, and that kid aged up into a mermaid. Do you know how not simple that is? There was like so many moving parts to that. There were so many Sims. I had to install a mod so that I could have a larger household than 8 Sims, because I needed that. I had to figure out how to murder a Sim, because I had never murdered a Sim before. And I don't, it was intense. It was a lot. It was a lot, but I really enjoyed it. But I've become in love with Sulani because of that. So this build was in Sulani. It was really cute. And actually it really looked like something my boyfriend and I would have decorated. It looked like the sort of house that we would want in real life. Again, there were so many builds. Like, somebody had created a museum, like a gallery, with all this beautiful art that is like in the game. But then they also added like all this green space, and it was absolutely beautiful. We had somebody else who created a gallery and had also used artwork that your Sims can make, because your Sims can like paint things from reference and just make their own art. And it was just like phenomenal. It was just wild to see how many people had created something that was like phenomenal. But I do have to say, I am very happy with the way that my submission turned out. I decided I wanted to make a house. Originally, it was going to be a house for like a family, but then also had like a mother-in-law suite. That didn't really plan out. I guess I just have like an older Sim who might be living with us, or maybe just more of an artistic Sim. Maybe they're not old at all. I have no idea. But I was very thrilled with what I came up with. I wanted to use pieces that I'm not normally comfortable with using. I did kind of use a lot of my comfort items, but I wanted something that kind of pushed the envelope a little bit. And actually, I'm working on a build right now that I have not been recording, which I should have been recording. But I'm basically designing it in a way that I never would have usually. Like, I'm completely out of my comfort zone with this one build, but more on that later. You'll see it in my legacy challenge if you watch my Twitch streams. But this submission that I made here, I'm actually really happy with the way that it turned out, especially with the way all of the rooms got pieced together, all of the puzzle pieces. It does not make sense that it would flow this way, but I think it looks really good. I feel like it fits. And I don't know, I was overall just kind of surprised by it. I did use a lot of paranormal stuff items, and they're so good. They're just like so beautiful, those build items. We have to talk about the holidays. If you're wondering why I sound weird, it's because I'm still a little bit sick. I did get sick for Christmas. Santa got me sick, y'all. It was not fun. I actually had like a really, really nice Christmas. And I don't know, it's always a little bit of a bummer because my boyfriend Andy, he goes to his family for Christmas and I go to mine. So we spend the holidays apart, and then we'll do like our own little Christmas like after Christmas. But I don't know, it's always like kind of a bummer like being away from him for the holidays. We've never actually spent the holidays together. Which, who knows, maybe we'll change that. But it was really nice to spend the time with my family. I wish that we had spent more time like doing things together. I felt like a lot of it was like prepping for Christmas and like for the company, and then we didn't get to do many fun things, I guess. I don't know. I wanted to play like board games or like, I don't know. But I still had a really good time, and I got the most thoughtful gifts from my family members. So one of the items that I got for Christmas was this journal, and I don't know, I was just like very taken aback by it because I was not expecting anything like this. And it's really cute. It's got this little wrap around it and it's got a key. And it's just this like, I don't know, antique looking journal. And it's got all these like pages in it. I don't really know what I'm gonna do with it because I don't know. I feel like whenever you get something fancy like this, or you get like a really nice notebook even, or like a journal, I feel like I'm afraid to use them. Is anyone else like that? Like, I don't know. I feel like, what am I supposed to do with this? I'm so scared. Like, I'm going to ruin it. It's kind of like when you were a kid and you had your notebook, and you would like write the date wrong or something at the start of the year. Like you would write like last year's date or something. And it just felt like the notebook was like ruined. That's kind of how I felt. I also got 2 gifts from family members. Both board games, both the same board game. And you might be like, what? But I have become very interested in the game Codenames, and I did not realize that it was a board game because a couple of my friends had told me on my Twitch stream that there's this fun game that you can play like in your browser called Codenames. And essentially what it is there are spy masters. So there's 2 teams, and there's Spy Master A and Spy Master B, and they each have, I don't know, like spy people, I guess, I don't know, who are on their team, and they can't communicate with the Spy Master. The Spy Master just gives them like a 1-word clue, and then how many, like there's like a number next to it, and then there's all these words that are like listed on the board. And you, if you are not the Spy Master, have to figure out how the Spy Master connected those words together, but they're all like one color. So you don't know what color is your color. So you know how I said there's Spy Master A and Spy Master B? Those 2 have distinct colors. So Spy Master A might be red and Spy Master B might be blue. You need to figure out what word is what color. And by that I mean, so there are cards on the board that to the Spy Masters, they can see that there's red cards, there's blue cards, there's neutral cards, and there's even a black card, which if you get that, it's game over for your team. But the Spy Master is trying to come up with these clues to link the words together, and the guessing team members, they need to figure out what words they think go with those clues to match up their colors. And I don't know, it's always been really fun, and I've played it a bunch with my dad and my brother. It's been really fun to like play that like on our phones sometimes at like family gatherings. And I don't know, it's just like this really fun game. And then I found out that it's a board game, like it exists that you can like play at parties or whatever, like you don't need to do it on browser. I'm just used to playing it on stream. And I also got really interested in it because if you've seen one of my former like YouTube videos, one of my past YouTube videos, I went to Czechia with my boyfriend and his family last year, and it was actually really nice. And I found out that Codenames is made by a Czech company, so it was kind of cool. It was kind of interesting. So I really wanted to get the board game for Christmas, and I got the board game. But there's also a Disney version of the board game, which I didn't know about at all, and I kind of can't wait to check it out. So I got 2 different versions of the board game, and that was really fun. Another gift that I got from my family, which I thought was really funny, is I think it was kind of more of a gag gift, but I'm definitely going to use it. So I stream out of this room, and like that's like my stream background. Now, right now it's decorated for Christmas, but I'm going to put this together and probably have it back there, at least occasionally. But I got Light Bright. Has anyone heard of this? Did anyone have this as a kid? I was obsessed with it as a kid, but this one is Disney 100, so it's got like a bunch of like Disney designs. And again, I'm obsessed with The Little Mermaid, so I'm probably gonna have The Little Mermaid back there a lot. But when I was a kid, this one I think either like plugs into an outlet or it's either micro USB or it's battery operated. But when I was a kid, it was something that you plugged in like to an outlet, and I was obsessed with it. And I would sometimes wake up in the middle of the night, and I couldn't sleep when I was a kid. And what I would do was I would come downstairs to where the light bright was, and I would take it out of the box. I would move a little end table that was in our living room in front of where an outlet was, and I would move that table to in front of my parents' bedroom door. And then I would plug in light bright, which I was not allowed to do, especially unsupervised because it's electricity. And I would play light bright in the dark in the middle of the night on the floor, putting in the little pegs that would like light up because it was like backlit, because it was plugged in, and my parents wouldn't be able to get out of their bedroom because I put a table in front of them. My mom used to like talk about this all the time because she'd be like, you cannot do that. Like if there's a fire or like you get hurt because it's electric and you're not supposed to be using that alone, like, and they would be sleeping. So it's not even like I could do anything about it. I don't know. It was just really funny. And I used to be obsessed with light bright. So I would play it in the day too. But that was like kind of like one of the things that I was like doing a lot of as I was a kid, was I was playing light bright in the middle of the night, in the dark, unsupervised, using electricity, which again, I wasn't allowed to do. Because I was too young. I don't know about kids these days, but this one is battery operated and we don't have to worry. But I don't know. I just thought it was really cute. I was very, very surprised that it even existed. So I don't know. It was really fun to open Christmas gifts. I got to enjoy giving a ton of gifts. I don't know. I felt like this year I didn't do as well as I normally do. I really like to think about the Christmas gifts that I'm getting people, or just gifts in general. And I really try to like plot out what would be like good for each person. And I don't know, I felt like I did like a good enough job this year, but definitely not as good as I've done in the past. I don't know. I like to see everyone like open their gifts, but this year I felt like we didn't get to see anyone. We just like all went crazy opening the gifts. I also got a really nice blanket from my mom. My mom like made me a blanket, which she's done in the past, and that one is like one of my favorite blankets, which I basically have on the couch like every single day. My mom has made me so many blankets. It's really nice to have like those handcrafted items sometimes, because like I don't know, I feel like a lot of people, especially with Christmas, like they put pressure on like getting like bought items, but sometimes having something that was like personally made for you is better than anything that you could purchase. And especially like those blankets, because my mom makes really nice blankets. But I did get to spend some time with my boyfriend for Christmas. Again, we always celebrate it like after Christmas, like a couple of days later, because we'll usually like pick him up, or he'll get back to the airport and he'll get back to New York City and we'll celebrate together. But again, I got sick for Christmas. So my whole family got sick, and we were absolutely dying. I still don't know exactly what it was. I think I'm like mostly better now. I might have like a little bit of a cough and like some congestion, but I was like down for the count. And I think my mom actually, she has not been feeling well, and she just went to the doctor, and I think she has bronchitis, but I don't know what I had. I don't think I had bronchitis, but we were all out. And I actually scared my boyfriend because I wasn't responding to any messages because I was literally in bed dying. And I didn't realize my parents had even like come upstairs and like use like the touchless thermometer thing to see like how I was. And I guess I had like a fever. They both had fevers at one point. It was like I'm saying, we were not doing well. And I remember I think I was like so cold when I went to bed that I was like in a hoodie, and I slept in the hoodie. And you know, when you're so sick and you really don't feel well and like you're in bed and you feel like you can't like move or like get up or like do anything, and you kind of just like lay there because you're just like so out of it. That's how I felt. Like that unwell. And I remember like my phone going off, and I was probably like, that's Andy, I should probably like check that or like check in with him. And I would just like fall back asleep because I like was not feeling well. But I kind of scared him because it was hours and we were going to be picking him up from the airport that night. And then I think my dad woke me up and was like, okay, I'm going to pick up Andy. I don't know if you want to come or not. I don't know how well you're feeling, but I feel well enough to like pick him up because they were going to send a car. But I was like, no, I'll go with you. Like, I feel well enough. I want to take a quick shower if I can because I felt like I hadn't taken a shower in a really long time. And oh my God, I think it was the quickest shower that I'd ever taken. And I felt like a person again. You know when like you're really sick and you need to take a shower? That's how I felt. And we went to the airport. We were both like dying. We were both like, this is probably not a good idea. We basically found 2 chairs and we just sat there. Like we went into the airport and we just sat there. I think we were like at baggage claim. And I was like, Andy, we're over here. Come find us. It was not the most welcome. I felt really bad, but then we ended up driving back to our apartment. We ended up, I think we had dinner, Andy and I, and that was the first time I had eaten all day long. And then we exchanged our gifts, and Andy, oh my God, Andy usually gets me like such really nice gifts. And I don't know, I always feel like I have the hardest time shopping for him because sometimes like I'll be like, oh my God, this is a perfect gift. And then I feel like it doesn't go over well or it's not something that he's like really interested in. And I was like totally off base. But I felt like he really liked the gifts that I got him this year. I was very pleased. He's also like a big fan of Scooby-Doo, so am I. And there was this like sort of color blocked, like very interesting, like pullover sweater that I was like, I really hope he'll like this. And I actually showed it to him and I was like, oh, isn't this cool? Trying to like gauge interest. And he was like, yeah, that seems cool or whatever. And I got it for him. And he didn't seem to remember it, but he seemed to really like it. So that was really nice. But he got me some of the nicest gifts. And actually, he gave me one. It's actually Mickey ears. And I actually have, the two of us, we have friends who we've actually met through one of our other friends who Andy and I are like weirdly linked to. Because like we both didn't like Andy's not from New York City. Like I grew up here, but it's a very interesting story. I'll probably tell it one day, but this friend also introduced us to this other friend and his husband, and they run a Disney like pin trading, like Disney themed YouTube channel. Actually, Spill the Mad Tea Party. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of them, but definitely go check them out. I'll drop their link down below. But they had opened them. Actually, the one friend who's also a Twitch streamer, Dare Bear on Twitch, he had opened this one Mickey ears that I was blown away by. And it was Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. And it was like the coolest idea. It had, for like one of the Mickey ears was a magnifying glass. It was just like so cute. And I looked like immediately and it was sold out everywhere. And there were people like reselling it for like super expensive. And I was like, oh no, I really wanted this. It looks so cool. And I thought it was sold out forever. And then I kind of just like blocked it out because I didn't want to be like missing out on this like wonderful item. Andy got it for me. I was so shocked. And I think he was too, because I think he was like sort of looking for it like occasionally. And it showed up in stock and he purchased it well before Christmas. And I don't know, I was just blown away. And because I was like so sick, I was like, I didn't even really want to open presents. I wanted to go to bed. I was thinking we'll do presents like in the morning when hopefully I'd be feeling better, which spoiler alert, I didn't. But we opened presents and that present was like the last one I opened and I cried. Can I show it to you? Here, let me go get it. Okay, so I have not taken the tags off. And I've never actually worn it, but like, I don't know if I want to wear it. I don't know. But look at this. Oh, I guess I have to take my glasses off. Hold on. Look at this. Is this not the cutest thing in the world? Like, these Mickey ears are adorable. It's got the characters on the back. It's got Gadget. You see her. And then it's got like the Rescue Rangers logo over here and the magnifying glass. And like, I don't know. Is that not like the coolest concept? I was so taken aback. And honestly, I cried. I was just like so surprised. I was not expecting this. Oh wait, I didn't even notice this, but it's got some information on it. The animated television series Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, which premiered on March 4th, 1989 on the Disney Channel, follows two chipmunks who are part of a secret international organization. Oh, it's a limited release, series 7 out of 10. That's actually really cool. I was just like so taken aback by it. I was just like blown away. But yeah, I definitely cried opening that Christmas gift, and it was the last one that I opened, and it was just, I don't know. It was just like the perfect Christmas gift, especially from Andy. Andy really always comes up with like these most thoughtful like items that he knows that I'll really enjoy. And I was not expecting it. I really thought it was sold out. And the fact that he got it for me, I don't know. I was just like blown away. And I definitely cried a little. But anyway, going back to this build, I have to be honest. I really wanted a little bit of symmetry, and it's actually really funny because one of the puzzle pieces was from my mod Ultra Dave 328, and he created a little lobster looking thing. I feel like so many people use that as their entrance because it really lended itself to it, because like there were like the claws over here, and those most people like use as like little windows or like the like entryway point, and then like that inset area, like where the head would be. That's where I put my front door. I don't know. I just felt like it was like the perfect entrance. And that was the idea that I had when I started piecing everything together, like after the first like 600 tries. I'm acting like it came to me like really easily, but I also was very worried about roofing this thing. And I also had people who were in the community as I was working on mine were like, oh yeah, my roofing came together like really nicely. And I'm like, how? But one of mine, I was just, I don't know. I was very unsure about what to do for the roofing. And I just decided I'm going to use platforms. It's going to be modern. I made the front roofed. I made that using whatever I could, but I also had the forethought to include for rent because I knew I was going to be getting for rent. Then I actually built this in Tamarang, the new world that comes with for rent, and I definitely didn't knock down a national park to do it. But I don't know. I thought it was like the perfect place for the lot. I don't know. Who knows? It sort of fits in. There's a big tree out front. You don't see it yet, but it will be there eventually once I start landscaping. I also have to be honest, when I did the landscaping for this, I didn't know what I was going to do, but I was really impressed with the way that it came out, especially once I put that tree, because I put this like massive tree, and I was not thinking it was going to work out the way that it did, but it ended up really pulling everything together. I was kind of surprised. I think because the house felt a little lopsided because there wasn't the second floor on that area in the front. So having the big tree there, especially like overhanging onto a lot of that, it sort of fixed that lopsidedness of the house. I also wanted to have a little balcony space, and I couldn't figure out where I was going to put the stairs, and then I finally figured out like the best place for the stairs. I was very taken with the fact that Andy was able to get all of my mods involved in this, and each of them contributed a room. I was very impressed by that. And there were just so many people who participated as well as one of my mods who we brought them over to the dark side. Actually, Dare Bear, one half of Spill the Mad Tea Party, we got him very interested in The Sims, and I don't know, it was just very, very sweet. Another one of my friends had done on his Twitch channel, he had done like his submission in like, I think he did it in like an hour or an hour and a half. He did it like in 30-minute segments. It was just like wild to me. It was just also really cool because I've seen so many people host shell challenges and I'm like, I would love to do that, but I don't even know if anyone would actually submit. So I don't know. It was just like very, very, very humbling and very sweet to have so many people submit to it. And so many people have told me that they really enjoyed doing it. A bunch of people I know also started working on it, but got a little overwhelmed because it was a big undertaking. This was not an easy shell challenge, especially because the puzzle, like to put everything together and not everything fit together nicely. So I do know that there were a lot more people who started working on it, but then didn't actually submit, which is totally fine, totally understandable. But I think we'll probably do some more shell challenges in the future. In 2024, we'll do a bunch of shell challenges, or maybe not a bunch. We'll do a couple at least, but they're not going to be puzzle shells. I'll design the challenge and then we'll all work on it and it'll just be like one thing. But yeah, I'm excited to do more shell challenges in the future. I also have to be honest, I have a couple of plans for 2024. So one of my big things is I have been streaming on Twitch since 2020. For those of you who don't know, I was a graphic designer. I had never really even heard of Twitch. And then I had seen people streaming on Twitch that I really liked, who were existing content creators. And I was like, wait a minute, this is kind of cool. I could do this because you're just like showing off like what, your Animal Crossing island, or I don't know, building in The Sims or whatever, or playing a game, and you're interacting with people. And I don't know, it just felt like that's something that like I could easily do and I would have a lot of fun doing. And now I'm turning it into a career. I like being a content creator was never in my plan. But honestly, like when I got laid off from my job during the pandemic, and originally I was furloughed, so I thought I was getting my job back. I don't know. Twitch kind of saved my life because I was not doing well there. I was not doing well there for a little while. So I don't know. Twitch has been like this amazing place for me, and one of my big goals for 2024. And I know it's a big goal and we might not achieve it, but I want to get as close to it as possible, is I would love to make Twitch partner. And basically what that means is, if you're not familiar with Twitch, it's basically like people can stream to Twitch. And if you are an affiliate, people can subscribe to you, people can share bits, and you can earn ad revenue, which is the stage that I'm at now. And you can get higher revenue share when you're Twitch partner, which is a lot harder to get into. And the big hurdle for me is to get that average concurrent viewership. So basically you just need like a certain amount of people watching you over like a 2-month span or so. So if you have not checked out my Twitch channel and you like what you see here, you might want to follow over there. My name is the same as it is here. It's just Teknikolour, just over at twitch.tv. And I stream pretty much every single day. I'm actually scaling back the amount of days that I stream, because I used to stream, if you could believe it or not, I used to stream every single day for a really long time. And then I decided I'm going to take Sundays off. And it was the really weirdest sensation. I was not ever expecting that, because I enjoyed streaming every single day, but I felt like I needed that little breather area. And that worked for the longest time. But then I realized I want to make content elsewhere. I want to make content on YouTube. I want to start sharing on my other social media more. And having that one day was not enough for me, so I've started taking off Wednesdays. So I stream basically every single day, except for Wednesdays and Sundays. On Tuesday and Thursday mornings, if you're on the East Coast, I start at 10 a.m. and we play The Sims 4. So if that is your vibe, that is when you can catch me. But Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays, I stream any other game, really. Right now, I'm doing Yoshi's Crafted World in Disney Dreamlight Valley, Disney Speedstorm. Sometimes we'll do Dead by Daylight. Sometimes we'll do role-playing games. It really just depends on like what we're feeling. We just recently finished Marvel Spider-Man 2 and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. But yeah, we play a lot on stream and we have a ton of fun together. We also do word games at the start of every stream, and that's really fun. But yeah, that is one of my big goals for 2024. But another goal is, of course, making more content on YouTube, doing more videos every week. And I really just want to grow on other social media channels as well. So I'd like to grow on TikTok. I'd like to grow on Threads. I'd like to grow on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitch. So that's basically where I'm at. And that's kind of like what I'm hoping for. That's the big wish for 2024. What are some of your goals for 2024? And I didn't even ask, what did y'all get for the holidays? Did you get anything fun? Did you do anything exciting? I would love to hear from you. I don't know if you can hear this car honking its horn incessantly outside, but oh my God, is it annoying. But as you can see now, I'm kind of finishing up the build. I am putting the final touches on. I'm doing some landscaping, doing some light decoration everywhere. And one of the things that I came up with was I felt like it was just white. I put this white siding up and I had like the black rooftops. And I liked that look, but it needed something a little bit more. And I wasn't entirely sure what exactly to do because I didn't want it to be overwhelming, but I also wanted it to have some visual interest. And once I put those garden planters up, I knew that I needed more of the black. So I decided to use some of those vertical like wall decor items and I put those around, and I don't know, I feel like it just transformed the space. It became like this different sort of thing that I was not expecting. You might have also seen that some of the footage is missing. I did cut out a bunch of things. Like I cut out some of the decoration of the bathrooms because I felt like this was just going to be way too long otherwise. But I ended up not recording one day that I started working on this, and thankfully it was a short day. But basically the entire office, I missed all of the recording of that. And I'm kind of bummed about that because I was really happy with the way that the design of the office came out, but it was very nice seeing it all come together there. I personally think that my favorite part of this entire build is the living room, dining room, and kitchen space. I don't know what it is, but I felt like they all really tied in very well together. I think it was because I used a lot of natural wood and I used those 2 paranormal stuff wallpapers in different colors. And I feel like they sort of like lent each other to each space. So it kind of like was this nice really flow, but I was really happy with the way that it came out, especially seeing out that kitchen window like over the sink and having it overlook the backyard, which wasn't even built yet. I don't know. I was very impressed with the overall layout of that because we really struggled with the floor plan for both floors. Oh my God. Can y'all hear this car going off? I really hope you can't because it is so irritating. I'm really sorry if you can hear that. I feel it is so distracting for me. I have my window open right now because it's a little warm in here. You guys are not going to believe what it was. So if you've been hearing me talking about this like car that has been like honking their horn like nonstop for the past however long I've been recording this, apparently somebody had parked their car and were blocking in somebody's driveway and they live on the other side of the street. I don't know. Living in New York City can be kind of crazy sometimes, especially with people who act like that. But case is closed. We know what happened. Everything's back to normal now. Also, when they were trying to like get out and like move so that the person could get back into their driveway, they almost got hit by another car. So it has been very interesting here the past few minutes while I have not been sitting here like talking to y'all. Where was I? I think I was talking about how the upstairs floor, I really liked the way that turned out because there was the primary bedroom and bathroom suite that was kind of like spaced out all over, that has their own little balcony space, actually 2 kind of balcony spaces. Then there was the balcony for like the entire household, and there was the laundry room. But you'll also see that I am going to jump in at this point, because this is all zipping around. This is moving very quickly, so you can't really see everything. This is more of just a space for us to like chat and have this going on in the background. But if you don't mind, I would like to jump into the game now and kind of show you around a little bit. And maybe we can even see some of the gallery submissions as well. So here we are in Tomarang. This is my shell submission to my own shell challenge. And honestly, I feel like it looks really cool. So here, let's show you around. Let's do the little tour. So obviously here is the front entrance. Here's that really big tree that I was telling you about. I have this cute little green space over here with these 2 balconies. There's a pool outside, and there's a little dining area, a little telescope. There's a side door over here. You can see into the office here. And then over here, there's even like a little sitting area. But then once you come inside, there's obviously like this symmetry over here. And here is the living room. You can decorate it with photos of your Sims. I mean, I don't know anyone who's going to live in a shell challenge house, but if you wanted to, you could. Then of course, here is the dining room. And honestly, I am so happy with the way that this dining room turned out, because it feels like a very good use of the space. And I don't know, it just feels like somewhere that I would want to live. Here is the kitchen. Again, this is the view outside that window that I was very happy with. And I really like using this eco lifestyle wallpaper. I feel like it just really works. There's of course a little half bath over here. And then you walk in, and down this hallway, you can go outside, or you can go into either of the 2 bedrooms that are on the first floor. There's another little bathroom space over here. And then this bedroom over here is like for like 2 teenagers. They have a little dog space over here too. Then here's the office that I am very impressed with. This like astrological sort of furniture, I was not expecting to find that, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out, all coming together. I feel like it just sort of fits. This also feels like an office that I would love to have. And then of course upstairs we have the landing space over here with some bookcases. And here's the laundry room. There is place to go outside, and then you can go around here. There's another little seating area. You can go downstairs to the outdoor dining area. There's a bathroom over here. I have this like little nook for a toilet room, and then here's the sink. And then right over here, this is functional. I was very impressed that I got this space to work, but it's functional. This actually works. And then of course over here you have the primary suite. So it's kind of like this big bathroom strip out to this little balcony area. But over here is another little toilet room for them. There's the sinks. And then over here is the shower room. And then of course their bedroom, the primary bedroom. And I also really liked having this little like bump out, and then that is an entrance to their little balcony space. I don't know. I was very pleased with the way that I pulled this one together, because the shapes were kind of wild. Can I show you the shapes really quick? So these are the shapes that my mods came up with. So my boyfriend wrote down each of their names above their little shapes that they created, but these are all supposed to puzzle together. Can I show y'all what everyone came up with? So many people came up with these like amazing concepts. Like for instance, the Awful Gamer used only growing together and did it in like an hour or an hour and a half. Marina Sky, one of my community members, made this incredible museum with all this like green space. I was like so taken aback by this one. My boyfriend Cinnabon Andy, he did this with base game, my first pet stuff, which may or may not still be free, I'm not sure, and the holiday celebration pack. Those are the only base game and these two. And came up with this. Is that not wild? This is that secluded island getaway one that I was telling you about, which I was so taken aback by this one because it's very much the color scheme and the overall sort of design that I would personally love. We had somebody else make another gallery, and like everything just like came out like really nicely. Like there were so many people. This person made a whole castle. They didn't get to finish like decorating all of the interior, but like come on. Like these people did such good jobs. They did amazing. Like another museum, like I don't know. I'm very, very much blown away by what everyone came up with, and I can't wait to do another shell challenge. So if you want to see more about that, or if you want to see more of me and my content, whether it's Sims or Dead by Daylight or anything, you can subscribe to the channel. It is free. Hit that notification bell, like this video if you liked it. But if you want to see more live content, I stream again pretty much every single day except for Sundays and Wednesdays now over on twitch.tv/Teknikolour. We do a ton of fun games over there, and a lot of it is The Sims. Right now we are playing my Around the World's Legacy Challenge, which is a legacy challenge that I wrote where you're kind of just deep diving into each of the worlds. So yeah, I hope to see you in chat, or I'll just catch you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye-bye.